Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a crochet tutorial on the nanabnb like beanies. I started with making the June one on my TikTok and everyone wanted to know how I made it. So I started making this DK one. Basically, it's just a normal crochet beanie if you've ever made one before, where you make basically a big panel and then cinch it at the top. But I use a stitch fiddle pattern I made where I put the hats that they wear's picture in, and it makes the crochet grid for you. If you've never crocheted a grid before or done tapestry crochet before, I show you how I do it. Some people might do it differently, but this is just what works for me. I also leave all the ends showing. I don't weave them in because, especially when it's something that I'm wearing and it's inside, I don't see a point in weaving all the ends in, but feel free to do that if you want it to look a little bit cleaner. But I feel like from the outside it looks fine, so I'm not gonna mess with the inside because no one even sees it. But I hope that this tutorial is easy to follow, and if not, let me know in the comments how I can change it. I know in some parts it is a little hard because I film on my phone. I don't have a camera, so it's a little harder to show what I'm doing because I don't have a tripod to show above me working. I wish I did. That would make things a lot easier. Maybe I'll get one in the future. But for now, I hope that this tutorial is easy enough to follow with my instructions, and let's get right on into it. I flipped the graph up because it's a lot easier to crochet 50 stitches instead of however many that is, and there's way less color changes. And if you've never used a grid to crochet before, it's really simple. Basically all of the squares are just going to be a single crochet. Don't pay attention to those white squares there. It was just the background of the picture I used, but pretend those are black. And we're crocheting from left to right after the chains, so that means you'll do 37 single crochets in the black yarn, and then there's 4 single crochets in white, and then 9 more in black to make the 50 single crochets all across. I'll show you a better angle for the second row, but I'm trying to hold it down with scissors because it keeps curling. But you'll do the 37 single crochets in the black yarn, and then you'll change colors to the white, do the 4 single crochets in white, and do the rest in black. And I'll show you how to do the color changes in the next row when it's a bit bigger, so it's not curling up as bad. Now I'll show you how to do the color changes when you get to the white squares. So for the second row, it looks like there's 7 black squares, 2 white, 4 black, 4 white, and then the rest is just black all the way down. So I'll show you how to change in this little area here. So first you're going to do the 7 black squares, so 7 stitches of the black yarn. And on the 7th stitch, you're gonna leave the 2 loops on your hook, and you're not gonna finish the stitch with the black yarn. You're gonna grab your white yarn or whatever's the second color you're using, and you're gonna use that yarn to pull through the 2 loops and finish that last stitch. And then you have the white yarn to use now, so you can do the 2 stitches of white. And again, when you do that second stitch of white, you need to change back to the black square. You're gonna drop your white yarn and pick back up the first strand you were using, and you're gonna use the black yarn to finish that white stitch. So then you have the 7 black squares, the 2 white, and then there was 4 black squares next, so you'll do the 4 And again, on that 4th stitch, you're gonna leave the 2 loops on the hook, and you're gonna grab the white yarn, and you're gonna pull through and finish that stitch with the white. And then there's 4 white squares, so that's 4 single crochets with the white yarn. And on that 4th stitch, again, you're gonna leave the 2 loops up, grab the black yarn, and finish that stitch with the black yarn. And then for the rest of the row, you're just gonna keep single crocheting with the black yarn. We're on the 3rd row. I'm gonna show you how to do the color changes, but when you're working on the back side where all of the yarn is hanging, to like make sure you keep the yarn on the back, and because you don't want like these lines that you see on the back on the front, because then it like messes everything up and it's not as clean looking. So it's the same concept. You're gonna make sure when you start that color change that you have the 2 loops on that hook, but then when you have the 2nd yarn color, you just want to make sure that you're keeping it in the back. So like the yarn that you're not going to be using anymore, in this case it's the black yarn, make sure that you have it on the side that you're working, so it's like coming towards you like this. You don't want it like draped over the front or anything, because then you'll start having the lines of yarn on the front. So you'll do the same where you finish the yarn or finish the stitch with the white yarn, and you just keep following the grid pattern, again making sure that this black yarn is coming towards you. So then I'm doing the 4 white again on this row, and when you grab that 2nd color, make sure when you pull it over, it's kind of hard to show because I don't have like a really good setup to film tutorials. That's why I don't do many, because I'm not good at filming them. But let me flip the camera and I'll show you what it looks like on my side. So when you're about to change colors, you want to make sure that this black yarn is held against your work on the side that you're working on. Again, you don't want it on the front, you just want it on this side. So it'll look like this. And again, when you're working through the next color, just make sure that that white is on the side that you're working on. It's like hanging off the back and not hanging through to the front. Now that I've shown you how to do the color changes going forwards and going backwards, you can just keep following the grid up. I'll probably check back in once we get a bit more rows done. I'll probably check back in around this section where the white starts to become a lot more, and I'll show you how I do those sections. When you have a lot of one color in one row, you have to make sure the secondary color, when you pull it across to finish the stitch with it, you have to make sure it's loose enough so that it doesn't like curl your work up, and make sure that your work stays the same size, because sometimes if you like pull it too taut, it'll shrink your work. So you just have to make sure that it stays pretty loose once you do one row that's like a lot of one color. I've finished the D, and so there's a lot of black rows coming up, and so I'm just gonna cut off the white yarn for now and like tie it off, because we're just gonna be doing black for a while, and then I'll weave it back in once we start the K. By the end of the panel, you want it to be able to wrap around your head, and mine is like barely shy of fitting around, so I'm gonna add a couple rows of black on the end just so it fits all the way around. I forgot to stop and show it, but once you finish the whole grid of the 2 letters, you can just weave in the white. Like as I was going down that row, I cut the white off and then I just kept weaving in the little white strand as I finished that row. Because DK's grid is a little bit smaller since it's just 2 letters, if it doesn't fit all the way around your head, you can just add the extra rows of black on the end like I did. And then once you're finished doing all of that, you have the extra rows, you have the letters done, I'll show you how to connect the beanie together and cinch up the top. So now we're gonna attach the sides. So you're gonna flip it right sides together and fold it in half. And you're basically just gonna single crochet the 2 sides together all the way up the row. You can slip stitch them too, but I normally just single crochet them because I feel like it's just easier. So you're just gonna chain 1 and then the 2 corners, just make sure they're aligned, and you're gonna put your hook through the first stitch on the opposite side through to the next side. So you can kind of see you're going through both sides, and then you're just single crocheting them together. You're just going to keep doing that until you get to the end. Now that we've sewed up one of the sides, it's time to sew up the top, and you're going to basically do that by like weaving in and out with your leftover yarn, and it basically cinches up the top. So I'll show you how to do that. It's kind of hard to show, but basically you're gonna weave in and out of like the main panel at the top, and then you're gonna pull this yarn through and it's gonna help cinch it up. I'll try to show it as best I can, but basically you're gonna like weave it in and out and pull your yarn all the way through. I have like a knot in my yarn, so that's not helping. Let me honestly just cut it. I'll use this if I need it later, but you'll pull it through, and then when you pull it tight, you see how it like cinches it up. Let me see if I can show it again, doing the next little bit. You just pick a stitch a little. I'll try to show it as best I can, but basically you're gonna like weave it in and out and pull your yarn all the way through. I have like a knot in my yarn, so that's not helping. Let me honestly just cut it. I'll use this if I need it later, but you'll pull it through, and then when you pull it tight, you see how it like cinches it up. Let me see if I can show it again, doing the next little bit. You just pick a stitch a little. I'll try to show it as best I can, but basically you're gonna like weave it in and out and pull your yarn all the way through. I have like a knot in my yarn, so that's not helping. Let me honestly just cut it. I'll use this if I need it. Once you cinch it, it might still have like a little hole like this. And basically I just stitch back and forth between the openings until it's fully closed. I hope this tutorial was easy to follow and helped you guys make your own. I think I said it earlier in the video, but I do have a Pinterest board where I've been adding the other members' grids in case you want to make someone other than DK. I know I have like DK, Sungcheol's, Dino's, June's, maybe Joshua's and Junghan's on there right now, but I've been like slowly adding them as I make the stitch fiddle patterns. So if you want to go check out my Pinterest, I'll have the board where I have all of these patterns on there so far. I know my next video is going to be me making a bunch of concert outfits, because literally starting with the ATEEZ concert at the end of July, I am going to a lot. So, and I'm trying to crochet a lot for my concert outfits for each one, because I have like ATEEZ and then Jin and then KCON right after that. So I'm gonna try to like put all of the crochet projects I do for those in one video. So that'll probably be the next one. If not, let me know down below what you guys want to see me make next. If there's any other like crochet, K-pop projects you want me to work on, let me know. And I'll see you in the next video.